it's a little bit different than basketball. Basketball, you get an assist if you pass to someone and they score. But in hockey, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe two people get an assist, both the person that set up the goal and the person that set up the setup. And that's an important way of thinking about it, because you have to think a couple steps ahead at least to make money in investing. Not where the money is now, but where it's moving to and what's contributing to where it's moving to. So it's kind of like, second and third order effects. And this is how smart people think. They say smart money. Smart money is always, at least a few steps ahead. It's kind of like a grand chess master. They say, in another famous expression, that the future is already here, it's not evenly distributed. So one thing I do is that I have incredible list management. Like, I have information flow. Most of my day is spent actually in processing information, setting up information, organizing people to organize information. Because if you can streamline an incredible amount of information and then also work on yourself to be able to process it better, insights, coaching, psychology, there's a lot that goes into it, then you have a huge competitive advantage. I mean, they talk about eating your own dog food. I mean, our company is successful because we have built a lot of systems to manage information flow that relate to e-commerce and the other things that we do. And then we also license and out to other companies so they can advantage. We, present it obviously to customers so they can have, discovery and other informational advantage. So the economics of space travel means that you have to look at, what is space travel going to mean? What's going to contribute to it? Who's going to contribute to the contributors? So I spend it. I would recommend you also, anything that you're interested in, see where it branches off to. I mean, if you're interested in nanotechnology, quantum mechanics, blockchain, artificial intelligence, all these things are related because everything is related nowadays, and especially the emerging technologies are more related because there's something called convergence. The companies that are making the most money are actually converging multiple different emerging technologies together. So, for example, in space, if you want to understand space dynamics, think about how are they going to travel in space. That includes like new kinds of engines, new kinds of propulsion, the psychology of living in space. Where are the stopovers going to be? How are they going to be mining in space to create materials that are needed and transport back to Earth and to other stations? Think about avatars, how they're going to be communicating in space. Like if you're on Earth and you have a meeting on Titan, in the future, or a meeting on another planet or even solar system, how is that going to take place? How is that going to relate to communications? How is that going to relate to money? So, is it going to be, some kind of blockchain transmission? How's it going to respond to records? How is it going to respond to contracts? So you very quickly see that the economics of space is multifaceted and multidimensional and multi-layered and multi-step. So when you have an information flow that factors in these different factors and factors in the relationship between these different factors, then you quickly start to make more sense of it. Let me give you another example. So AI famously, Watson and other things, is able to pull out relationships that don't exist. We do a lot of mind mapping and we do a lot of relationship mapping. So we look at, for example, like one thing you might have noticed that on social media, there's like maybe 10 or 20 influencers or more that are like most primary social media, and they all interview each other. It's like Gary Vaynerchuk, Russell Brunson, Tom Ballou, now Ray Dalio's getting into it, Lewis Howes, Grant Cardone. All these people basically get together and just self-reinforce each other. It's one big echo chamber. Everybody's a little bit different, but they figured out, that like these 10, 20, 30 people have the most influence, and if they all get together, work together, they kind of try to control the ecosystem. It's kind of like Grayscale has bought up, I believe they said 34% of Bitcoin. What it is that when you become big into yourself, and then you have the network effects to be able to extend yourself, then you become very powerful. So in space, it's not only a matter of Elon Musk and NASA, it's all the extended relationships that spin off from that. Joe Rogan, promotes Elon Musk on his show. I mean, think about all the ways that these different things come together. The podcasters that Elon Musk uses, the supply chain that he uses, the governments that he uses, the China, the manufacturing that he uses, the batteries that he uses. When you start to pull the pieces together, apply it to space, you'll have a better idea of what you're talking about.